All right, we're getting to some more interesting stuff now with Bone Collection. I've been pretty happy about this series so far. I've mentioned it. I think the series has done a really good job at balancing comedy on top of like it's more like action based scenes as well as like just certain character interactions. I think the art's pretty solid too for early on. It doesn't have to be amazing, but it's enjoyable to look at. I think is definitely one of the things, and I like the characters so far. I think the characters, like I've mentioned, have been pretty enjoyable, and I think so far like the main character, the two main characters, because Pyra and Kazami are pretty much joint main character, but I like them, and I have enjoyed the side characters. I know that one chick Abe, I think she's pretty cool. But anyway, uh, previous chapter, he ended up getting like a higher end percentage of his abilities. He got a 5% of Pyra's power instead of the other ones, which were revealed to be about 1%. This time he's got like this katana. He's got this sick katana with like a skeletal kind of like bone lineup along the backside. I'm curious to know if when they say, because they say this is like the 11th strongest in terms of spiritual energy for the bones in Pyra's body. I'm wondering if that's like the 5% is the strongest, or if like it's the object combined with the fact it's like this is the strongest object, but this is the strongest, or 11th strongest, but 11th strongest at 5%. Like it'll be a lot stronger in the future if this is like where it's going to be capped at, and then maybe it's like everything after this percent, like what makes it the strongest is depending on like, oh well, maybe the fifth strongest is 40%, and then it just keeps going up until it's the large majority of when they get to the high end stuff. But anyway, so it's he's got this higher end version. He's gonna end up just running through stuff. He's gonna be running the train on enemies, like way more powerful than what we've seen already. And we're actually getting to see as well this S class dude and what exactly he's gonna be capable of, because we know that he's supposedly a pretty strong character, and we know there's like 25 S class and above for the yokai in their world. But you have Kazami just going in where he's using some techniques. Like the first one, he uses this 1,000 bone raise. It's like this circular attack, but if you notice, because in the one that I'm using this picture, you have like you have this really cool kind of like skeletal line that goes with it. You just look at the outline of that attack, which that's actually definitely one of my favorite parts so far about the series, and just in the idea of seeing more techniques like this, where you're gonna have this really cool, like kind of like aura design clad onto it. And I think the skeletal design just in general looks really cool. I don't think anyone's gonna say like, oh, skeletons, that's lame. I think it just looks really badass. But the first one, I actually didn't notice until probably the second time I read through it. The way that the circle is set up, it's supposed to be like a spine, which I think is pretty badass. Again, bone powers by default are really cool. There's a certain level of badassness to it that I think everybody can agree, yeah, that looks cool. Bone powers are pretty damn cool. But he's like laying into them, just killing all these like fodder, like golem guys, because we found out in the last chapter that they weren't yokai. They were this S rank dudes, kind of like familiars, these little like rock and mud like pretty much summons that he's got. Nothing that they have to like kind of concern themselves for. They're just kind of mindless like little minions. But then they go in, and Abe, inside of like that buff dude kind of like shell that she's got, is fighting against this dude, this S class dude, and it's like seemingly pretty easy for her. But then the dude like reveals what his power essentially is. Like he ends up eating he ends up just kind of like drinking some alcohol, and that ends up just making him more powerful. So he's like this weird creature. More alcohol, stronger. Like he gets bigger. He's got these drills on his back, these like drill-like horns all over his like body, and he's got like also these like ones in his hands. Oh, they are also drills. They're like drills and horns, but you know what I mean. He's got these dangerous weapons all over the place. He's getting stronger. And I'm guessing this isn't like his full strength. I'm guessing this isn't like, oh yeah, this is like, I drank a thing of, I don't know what kind of, let's just assume it's sake. I drank a bottle of sake, so now I'm at full power. This is probably like one step in. Like, this is probably like form 1 of 5 or something. And like, he's got to drink way more, and then he's probably turns into some like drill kaiju or something pretty crazy. I'm wondering like where he wears this luchador mask though, because I think it was in Pyra's backstory, like their flashback, that he wasn't wearing a mask. I'm wondering why he's wearing one now. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't make him look a little silly. He's randomly just wearing like this luchador mask. Maybe he wears it for like some reason, or he's got some like design he's trying to go for, which I think would be really cool. Maybe he was like, well, I wanted to look more interesting, so like when people showed up, I would stand out more, because he looked fairly human. So I don't imagine like when it comes to like the other S classes, he's gonna be like some big standout. I imagine the other ones look way crazier. So, but then there's also obviously this big drill monster form. But Abe, when she gets knocked out of that her kind of like weird buff guy shell, she's seemingly way more serious. She looks like she's got like this determined like, yeah, I gotta get a little I gotta put in the work kind of like look. And she's like, I guess I'll end it with this spell. That gets interrupted because here comes Kazami and Pyra, who just block the attack. And they discuss how the one of the spikes on his back is like his stomach, and if they can cut that off, like all the alcohol powering him will just kind of come out, and he'll lose power, and they'll be able to actually kind of communicate with him. But Kazami goes to strike it initially, just like the normal slash. It's too hard, can't do it. Abe goes to do it, she's not able to do it, and then you get again. Nice character part, because that's one of the things, like I've mentioned, the series has actually been doing pretty good on our, character pieces this early in the series. Like, he goes to use, like, a drill on Pyra, and we know that Pyra, because, she's like this bone spirit kind of creature, bone monster, that she's actually very durable, like that. So the drill hits her body, and it, like, just rips up her clothes, but, she doesn't really take any damage. I did like the goofy look on her face when she first got hit, because it just looks like it's uncomfortable for her. And I mentioned that I think the series does actually pretty well at balancing comedy as on top of action and like the plot of what's going on. And I think legitimately that's a problem that a lot of newer gen series don't seem to, like, they haven't been too great on. Well, it's just like if they try and do some comedy, like it. Generally, the ones, at least that I've noticed, that do more comedy-based series are more leaning towards being like not as action-based. So I think this series has actually done pretty well so far at having a pretty good balance between putting out jokes and still moving stuff along, so you don't think it's a gag series. That definitely like a perk I think that Bone Collection has had, and it's something that I think I would hope will be like a beneficial factor when it comes to like people giving it ranks, because I think it's still in that spot where it's not ranked. It's like new series. I don't think even the first volume's got on sale, but you know what I mean? Like maybe I don't know how well it's doing over Japan, like their opinion of it, but I'm hoping that it, like stuff like that, like it's good balance of comedy and action, that it's better received. But here comes Avi. She's using like these like seals, like to pretty much chain them up. And then here comes Kazamian with the attack. Again, I think it looks really cool. And I read the one shot, so I know that the sword that we see is probably not its full design. It looks way more skeletal from what I remember in the one shot. But just like I said, the cool bone and skeletal aura around the techniques is awesome. I really do like that. It has just by itself, by a default, a really cool looking like design to it. And again, I don't think anybody's ever saw like bone powers and thought they were lame. It's just one of those ones that's just badass in general. It's just always cool, and plus it's not used a lot, so it's interesting to see kind of just laid out. But after that point, they help the guy out. He turns back to his base form, and when they're waiting to talk to him, he wakes up. And the last thing, actually, again, that the chapter leaves off on is like a comedy thing. He's like, oh, it's Pyra. And then he sees Abe, and he's like, calls her like a Lolita hag. So she's probably going to be pissed off next chapter. I don't think she's like, I don't think she was like supposed to be one of those characters that looks really young, but she's old. I think she was supposed to be pretty young, and she was just like a prodigy. But then again, they didn't say exactly her age, I don't think. Either way, I'm interested to see like where this goes, because I actually do like her character so far. I think she's been entertaining, but also she's got a pretty interesting design, with the whole funny like weird buff dude, like little shell that she's got. But I think her powers are also cool. I do like her like spells. I've already mentioned I thought the dragon fist attack or dragon punch attack just looked in general pretty cool. And I usually don't like serpent dragons like very much, but I thought that one looked really good. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about this series, and tell me your thoughts about what's going on with it so far. Again, I like it. I hope it does well. And I think that it's stand out a little bit more than some of the other newer series. But I have enjoyed a lot of the newer series. I don't think there's been any that I just haven't really liked at all. I think they've all had their own thing that they've done really well at. It's just the unfortunateness of like early Shonen Jump, and they'll just, if it doesn't catch on pretty quick, then they get merciless with it. So keep fingers crossed for Bone Collection, because I have enjoyed it. It's definitely a series that I've had fun reading since it came out, and I do look forward to the next one. But anyway, other than that, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. Tell me your thoughts about what's coming up. And I really appreciate the thumbs up the video. From the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. And thank you all for listening. Bye.